RTY short retested.
We have posted viewers ISM manufacturing PMI July reports on the feed for those interested. The key findings is that new order and backlogs are contracting, production and employment is contracting as well, supply deliveries are slowing, raw materials inventory are contracting, and customers' inventories are too low. Prices are increasing, exports and imports contracting.
All right, good morning, YouTube land. Can you hear me? Anyone out there?
NQ short retested.
Thank you, Madam Sheila.
NQ Icebergs sell NQ 375 contracts.
I'll be back in a minute after these disclaimers.
RTY long validated. RTY long retested.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should heavily consider their financial stability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites are digital venues for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit. Losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in both Staples and Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally pre-paired with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses or material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may amount or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general and to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in preparation of hypothetical performance results in all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trading room and this webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific recommendations. Analysis of I share trades and potential trades that I take for myself based on my personal analysis. With all the students trades, I identify specific areas to trade and themselves with ultimately decision trades. Trading is extremely risky and you decide on personal trades, you so ignore this and you potentially lose your entire account even more. And that was profitable when I have 13 drawdowns on the trading accounts. The spreadsheet that I access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to have its own values and ATR values and I need to avoid exact prices from my trades. You can see when I add its own prices into the master spreadsheet as well as prices that are trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm your own prices until they use on its own spreadsheet yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction trades, it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade.
All right, good morning. Markets are actually very active today. It's kind of neat.
Stop filled.
What's that? All right, so I was long.
Stop filled.
I was long crude for about an hour and a half. Just got stopped out of that. We'll go over that trade, but I am currently short ES, NQ, and I was short here. We'll go over these trades, but there are just boatloads of sell ice coming in across these markets, across the three major equity markets you can see here in NASDAQ. Just waves and waves and waves of sell ice. So somebody is trying to stop this potentially. Again, you never know what their intentions are. They could be getting out of longs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It shouldn't matter to you, right? You're never going to know why traders or bigger entities are doing what they're doing. All you can do is recognize the area on the chart and know there are loaded up traders here. A lot of traders were very aggressive trying to get long, and they ran into mouthfuls of sell ice. So I am currently short. I will watch this. I was short right off the bat. I don't usually like doing it, and I did it, and that's why I don't like doing it. I took a trade off of this sell ice that came in pre-market, and I got smoked right off the bat, but now I'm short again. I will watch. I mean, I usually get out. Actually, if this starts to roll up, I'm going to get out of one here. I just have 3 on, so hold on here. I'm just going to get out of one right here. So these are one of my areas that I will cover some of my trade, a prior volume event, right? So this may rip right through here. That's fine. I'll still have a couple on, but this very likely will respond to this area from the pre-market. That's one of the areas. I'm also short ES and NQ, or Russell. Just want to see where we're at here. of some of these. All right, so ES is close to the bottom of this market profile composite. That's definitely an area that I'm going to be getting out at, of some of them, not all of them. We'll go over these areas that I am very consistent where I get out. So that's around 72.50. I don't need to see the exact 72.50 touch either, right? If it starts to stutter around there, then I'm going to get out of some of these. And we got resting liquidity. So I'm going to get out of some of these right now just because I can't hop back and forth here as I'm showing these markets. So I'm going to get out of half here. That was a good trade. Let me get out of this one.
Order filled.
All right, so just see something here in NASDAQ quickly. See if there's another reason to get out of another one here. So I pay myself as the market makes money available to me straight out of trading in the zone, right? Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff here. I should get out of one more. So you got yellow lug, you got daily value area low, and we have that prior volume event. So I'm gonna hop out of one more of these. This could be a whopper down day too. I mean, the market still looks pretty bullish, obviously, from the last couple days. We'll go over all that. All right, so I had 3 NASDAQ or MNQ on. I got out of, I got out of 2 of them, yellow lug, daily value area low, and then it was that prior volume event. And we'll go over these trades, why I got at them in the first place, and then ES. This bounced exactly. This is why I get out of these areas. Not all of them. I got out of half right there. And that was also daily value area low. Or pretty close. This one standard deviation of VWAP. Let's expand this. All right, so these trades were put on. Tick strike going here too, so we can hear what's going on. So this ES trade was into one of my important areas called an IZZY inflection zone. So what I look for, I have specific important areas that I look for trades. What do I mean by look for trades? I look for volume events. So stop iceberg events, which I've said it for 7 years, is the most powerful, important thing that you can use when trading futures, right? Very important to know these areas. Icebergs are hidden orders, hidden big orders that usually the big money uses, that hides the majority of their order until it's traded into, because they can't just flash huge size in the order book, or these algos will run the market away from them. So I had an IZZY zone, I had sell ice. In this case, I actually waited for, and this is another trade that we have in the room, it's the reversion trade, which it did. But certain situations, I'll get in the first move out, and that's that yellow line. This is the zone drawer. I'll post all this stuff here in a second where you can get access to the stuff. And most of the time on my IZZY trades, I get in, it hits the IZZY zone, I get a volume event, I take it first move out. In this case, I waited for an ATR retest confirm because of the situation we were in here. It was in, I should say. So this was, just make this one bigger balance the last couple days. We're breaking out of balance, right? These are not high percentage trades as far as just shorting first move out, right? The best IZZYs are when you get straight moves into these IZZY zones. Those are the best ones. This one still worked, but I don't like just jumping in front of days of traders, longer term traders that are in trouble. As many times it just rips through these zones. So I waited. I got my volume event right there, and I waited for an ATR retest confirm, and I went short. So now this is getting interesting. These markets are still bullish thesis-wise, but if that violates basically 55-60-ish, then that's going to be a failed balance breakout, which is another trading strategy that I'm using. And these are all my trading strategies. We'll go over these throughout the webinar. So I took the IZZY in NASDAQ, Russell, and NQ, but we have potential failed balance breakouts happening here too. So let's take a look at NASDAQ. This one is not as... Yeah, this is still pretty far from its... So I talked about this with my room briefly today, right? So this is still in a bullish state, right? It's just a tiny... I know it feels like the market's sold off huge, but it's just, this is a tiny little blip. As long as this doesn't violate right around 19,400, which would be the high volume node, aka the middle of a balance area, that's usually where the most trade occurs, I would still be bullish thesis. What does that mean? thesis is just a guess of what I think is going to happen with these markets, right? I have my volume events and I trade them accordingly with my rules, and we'll go over these rules. When I have a thesis, I'll just trade bigger in that direction. That's it. Like, I don't try to predict what's going to happen. I let the real-time volume tell me what's happening, right? So this told me there was sell ice up here. I got my pattern. I got in. It's a great trade so far. And that was a very scary trade. I'm using air quotes, scary, right? This market ripped, and Hero was one of the reasons, right? Right off the bat, this Hero, this is the options complex. You know, NASDAQ ripped 150 points straight up at the open. ES ripped, what was it? About 30 points, right? It felt terrible is what it did, right? So those are usually the best trades. We've been talking about a lot lately is most traders want to feel comfortable in their trading, and that's why most traders don't make it, because they can't sit through this. It's uncomfortable. When they do finally have a winner in their favor, they get out right away because they don't feel comfortable that it could come back and cost them their profit, so on and so forth. So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Anyway, this was not a comfortable short, but it fit my parameters for my trade, and I put the trade on. That's what you have to do. You're trading in probabilities. If you get your setup, you take the trade. All right, so anyway, that was the ES, and this was still in. Actually, I got out of Russell here, but this was a very nice trade, quick profit. Here, that was, this market came up into this inflection zone, very wide zone, but this market's been ripping around lately. You can see this huge selling tail from yesterday. Anyway, came up, got my volume event, which I'll show you, shorted. I got out at half at the yellow lug, which is one of my areas I get out at. Ludwig levels, when I say lug, I'm referring to Ludwig levels. Second most powerful thing I've ever seen in trading, futures. That was this at the time. So it came down here, I had 6 on, I got out of 3 there, and then I got another volume event, and that's where I finally will say, my main target is usually the opposite Ludwig level, right? So I was shooting for the blue, and you can see right where this bounced this market profile composite as well, but I'll try to hold a piece till we get all the way to the blue and or an opposing volume event. So we got this volume event. I got stopped out to the exact tick as usual, but I followed my rules here. So I caught this Izzy up here. Got out of some of the yellow lug. This came in, popped up here. Actually, I shouldn't have got out of that. I don't know why I got filled on that. But anyway, I should still be in this trade, so I don't know what happened there. But I got filled with this new event that turned bullish, but it never touched the actual exit point, so I'm not sure why I got filled there. But anyway, I was short. It was still a nice trade, but I should still be in that. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, so NASDAQ, I had to make a decision here too because there was waves, tons of sell ice here, right? So you had, right off the bat, I told you guys I was short because I shorted off a pre-market zone, got just crushed. I mean, I stopped out where I should have stopped, but I mean, it was just straight up 150 points. Then sell ice started coming in, right? And then we got this one, and then this one, then this one, that's this here. So this is the zone drawer. Let me just throw this in here while I'm talking about it. So let me put this in the YouTube channel. So this is the drawing tool that I'm using. So I used to have to draw these, and you did too, by hand. Every time this stuff came in, now it draws automatically, which is a godsend. It saves me hours and hours and hours of my life not having to draw these things. Put this in here. All right, so that's in the YouTube channel. Actually, I could probably post it in the Discord too. Let's see here. 1 second. So if you guys got questions too, please put them in the YouTube. Because I can't go back and forth between the Discord and YouTube. Hold on, I'm trying to find this. There's so many channels now on Bookmap, it's hard to... there we are. There we go. All right, so anyway, I saw the sell ice coming in at NASDAQ, and we were into this zone here. Right, and this is an important inflection zone. This is where we gapped up here. So these are zones that I draw based on the 4 important areas of charting. Tops and bottoms of balance areas, high volume nodes of balance areas, directional conviction, gaps are directional conviction as well, and buying and selling tails. So you can see this one in Russell was a whopper that I showed a little bit ago, right? Selling tails are very important information. It's instant rejection, right? So, you know, you can have different time frames. This is on hourly, but you can see this area keeps getting rejected pretty quickly. Selling tail, selling tail, selling tail, huge selling tail. This is where I shorted it. Great trade, right? So this is why this zone was here. That's why I took the short there. So anyway, this one I didn't really wait for a retest, even though it did, just because we were far enough from most of the structure up here that I wasn't worried about getting run over like I was the ES. Both of them work, but this one I took aggressively. What I did here though, we got some grain action. I'm gonna head over there. Anyway, I did combine these 3 at the time. I didn't combine this one. I could have, but you know, there was a 50-point zone. I don't impose my own will on the market because this, you know, this is clearly one house, right? Sell ice, sell ice, sell ice. But this was far enough away, and it was a few minutes, so I'm like, I'm just going to combine these, and that was my short at the time, my short price, right? And it was below that prior one, so I took that. This came in as well. I just left my original one in there, and I got filled there and went through the torture. More sell ice came in. So I'm still short, but this is what I shorted off of, and I just combined these 3 and took that short. Anyway, this is a great example. You know, paper's not always right. The big money's not always right, but a lot of times they make themselves right. They'll just keep coming in and to hold the market, and this is exactly what happened here. I mean, these buyers were so aggressive. You're very likely going to. I'm surprised we haven't seen them yet. You're going to see some sell stops here any minute because you can see these blue bubbles. These aggressive buyers ran into sell ice, sell ice, sell ice, sell ice. So it's like they're not always right. The big money's not always right, but they're the big money. So if they have enough contracts, they can just keep throwing them in until the market relents, and this market is relenting, right? So these buyers didn't work out very well for them, and we took advantage of knowing this information. So what I say 80 times a day, this is the most important information you can have in futures trading, and it's pretty important to know that probably, what was this, 300, so we got 6, 9, 12, 15 between these two. So you got over 2,000 sell ice in this area. That's pretty important. 2,000 contracts of selling, passive selling, aka sell icebergs in this area. That's pretty important to know and see how the market reacted to it. Doesn't mean every time you see sell ice you just short. It just means this paper's not always right, but they're right more often than they're wrong because they're the big money, right? So anyway, we took advantage of this. We have exact setups, patterns that we trade this stuff. So shorted that. Hold on here. Okay. So I still have portions on them, fully out of my Russell, but I still have ES here. You can see we're at an important spot, gamma level. So I'll probably, this is 0 gamma too. Let's see what this hero is doing. I may get out of some more here. How many do I have on still? I still have 3 on. So hero is, that's a nice little turnaround on hero like that. And mag 7 heroes moving lower too. So I'm going to give this a chance to blow through here, right? This is an important area. Let's see where we're at here. And you can, so I use tick strike. So this is all in here, right? So the stuff, all the stuff I use, here's tick strike. Here's the spot gamma. I use code Scott, and I'll go over that because it's kind of tricky when you get in there. You can get 2 weeks of the spot gamma. You get all his commentary. You get the hero. You get everything free for 2 weeks. If you want to try that out, here's tick strike, trader sync, Ludwig levels. So this is all the stuff I use in my trading. I'll keep referring back to it. All right, so it's a good example. These are all areas that I usually will peel out, but we came down here. Why do I need to get out? If I don't see anyone buying, why do I want to buy, right? And you can see, tick strike, they're hammering this thing. So this may make it all the way down here. And this would be this is already a nice trade, but this would be a whopper. That'd be a 50-point winner. So I'm hoping my room caught this trade. It was a little crazy at the open, but you know, if you just kept your wits about you and waited for the setup, this was golden. All right, so I'm gonna we're at another spot gamma level. If this starts to bounce, I'll probably get out of one of these, and I'll hold two and see if we can get down here. But you can see there's all this liquidity down here, and it's pretty. It's probably options players as well. All right, so we're bouncing here. I'm gonna get out of one here. This is already a nice trade. This is like a 30-point winner. I'm gonna get out of one of these. Okay. All right, so it's continuing, and I'm fine with it, right? Like, if it would have ripped, I would have been bitching that I didn't get out of one. So I got out of one more, and now I'm going to try to hold these, see if we can get down here. Let's see what we look like on our lovely levels. Because if we hit the blue lug, I'm going to fully be out of these. Like I said, this is a nice trade. Right, so this is another good reason to get out of one too. I just didn't see it, so we had the spot gamma level, but then you have this prior market profile composite. That's where I got out of one, a couple over here. I got out of one more here. That's confluent with the spot gamma level. So these are all areas that I am consistently getting out of my winners. We got some gold action too, right here. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. Market profile composite low and high. That's where I got out of those. VWAP standard deviations, spot gamma levels. So this is all stuff that I'm very consistent. I'm consistent out where I get in, and I'm consistent where I get out. I don't trade. It's not by feel, right? Sometimes you have to make decisions like this right now, right? I got to make a decision. Hey, is it going to blow through these levels? So I got kind of jumped the gun on that first one, but it was responding right there, so it's fine. I'm fine with it. Anyway, I'm watching. I'm going to be out of this short down here. You got the vol trigger, spot gamma level, liquidity, and you got the blue lug. So if we make it down there, I'm just going to be out of this trade. I mean, I'll watch it, see if it can blow through, but it's probably. And then what I'll watch for is a potential long down here too, right? If we have a trading strategy for this called the slug, which I'm again surprised we haven't seen stop runs yet, but this is setting up for a perfect stop run right into this puppy to go long. So we'll see. All right, so that's working. Let's see what we got going on in gold. So I probably missed a trade up here. We got some sell ice. Yep, there you go. Missed an Izzy here too. So, important area. Inflection zone. This is where this market gapped down. Sell ice. I really hope my room caught this one. I just missed this trade, but that's this right here. So I would have taken that short. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Get in there. And now we're down here. And I would have trailed my stop to that. But again, I'm just pointing that out. I didn't put that trade on. So you got stop run, stop run, stop run. I will probably combine these two stop runs because since they were back to back. See right here you had 170, another 160. We got the natural gas number here coming out in 5 minutes too. That's what that alarm is. All right, let's make this one zone, see where we're at. I'm not seeing anything in my Izzy zones here. I really hope my room caught this because somebody did mention there was some a volume event pre-market before the equities open, and they asked if this was an Izzy short, and I said it's not quite there. Well, you got your Izzy short, so I really hope you guys took that trade. Anyway, there's nothing for me here. This isn't close enough to this Izzy zone. If it gets in this zone, I will look for longs. See what else is here for potential. Again, my important areas that I look for volume events. Not saying this was a pick. I missed two different trading strategies here too. So I missed the Izzy trade and I missed the pick trade. These are whopper trade. This is already 160 tick winner. Anyway, there's got the sell ice there and in the inflection zone, and I just missed the trade. And then I lug you. So I missed three strategies, whopper trades here. So these are what I'm talking about. I missed the I lug you, iceberg at the lug. Take any fade trade with an iceberg event and a major lug. This was sell ice into a resistance lug, the red lug. Missed that guy. That is just, that's just free cash right there. No heat, very little heat. So I missed that one. Pick, called profiles and courage. Take any fade trade that moves into or out of a market profile composite high or low. That was this right there. That's that one. And then when I showed you this, you saw that. I don't want to look at that chart anymore because it's making me upset. I'll be happy with the shorts I do have on, but that was a whopper. That was almost 200 ticks, I believe. Let's see, that was 150-ish. No, 100. So what I would do is I'd be trailing my stop to this event. So anyway, we have a new event, onward and upward. Don't dwell. We don't dwell. We move on. There's nothing for me to go long here. I don't trade off of the yellow lug. You could. Yellow lug's more of a the median. You can see it did bounce off there. I'll get out of some of my trade at the yellow lug like I did with Russell earlier as well. But I don't have a strategy for the yellow lug. Doesn't mean you can't. Doesn't mean my room can't. My trading room. This is what I do in my trading room every day. I come in here and trade live. These are my trading strategies, right? And I tell my room, especially if you're new, this is not meant to take every one of these trading strategies. Learn, become an expert at one of them or two of them, and then add one. And then within 6 months to a year, you have 3 to 5 strategies that you focus on, right? And if you got the bandwidth, you can trade them all. But this is not meant to trade them all. I trade them all because these are my strategies. I've been doing these for years, right? These are all in my head. Well, I finally laid them out, and I've assigned these Apex accounts to each one of these strategies. So we'll go over Apex here in a little bit, but that's what I'm doing there. Let's see what we got here. All right. So the whole idea of these webinars is to put on trades. So let's see if we can find something to trade based on real-time volume events. If you guys got questions, again, put them in YouTube. Can I explain the stop run? Yeah, stop runs are just usually retail trader pukes. So by nature, excuse me, they're not initiative buying or selling most times, right? Yes, you can stop into orders, but it's usually the retail trader saying uncle, right? Like, let me out, and puking them up. Inherently, they're fade trades, right? We do have a strategy called the stop and hold, right? I have different strategies. So like this was the Titanic. This is when the market runs into sell ice. We saw the same thing in NASDAQ, NES, and Russell, right? Titanic. Then we got broken ice. Then we have stop and hold. So these are all these here. This marker's getting killed. I gotta keep an eye out for this. I'll show you the strategies here in a second. I don't want to miss this move down into this stuff. Anyway, let me show you this here. You can see they're hammering these MAGA stocks as well. All right, so this is my trading course, right? This is, I go over everything that this is how I trade, right? Goes over the add-ons, what you need to get this stuff up and running, the settings, the thresholds for each product. Each product has a different. All right, there's the natural gas number just came out. Anyway, there's a thresholds. Each product has a different threshold that is important, that's trade worthy, if you will, right? So anyway, what I was getting to, and this is drawing in the zones. You don't need to know this you need to know it because there's times you want to merge your zones and stuff. But this is what the zone drawer does for you now. And then here's the setups, right? The Dumb and Dumber. That's usually a stop run that fades, right off the bat. I don't know, this will bring me to it. Stop and hold. That's when you get a stop run and a hold. It's Titanic when the market moves into an area, and like I was showing you, Nasdaq, Russell, ES, gold, all of them today. Market stops and goes the other way. Broken ice is when the big money is wrong. Doesn't happen as often as them being right, but they are wrong sometimes. So all we're really doing is take advantage of trap traders, right? Whether it's the icebergs or the person or entities buying into the icebergs. This is the area that is important. This is fuel for the move. As buyers were wrong, here we are, right? So that's all we're looking for. I've never, when this first came out, this stuff first was available. The CME made this available about 7-8 years ago. That's called the MBO data. Just Google it. You can read all about it. It's enhanced data that shows, based on the order IDs, what this big money is doing, right? So I don't know for sure. My opinion is they decided to throw the retail trader a bone, right? And say, here's some information for you because the retail trader was dying back in 2017, 2018. So anyway, now we have this information. It's the most powerful information you can ever use in futures trading, in my opinion. All right, we're closing in on this area here. I want to, again, I don't need to see exact ticks down here. If this gets anywhere close, You can see they're still hammering this stuff. All right, a lot of stuff going on in NG. All right, this is real close. I'm not messing around down here. This is a 50-point trade that I've caught. All right, any kind of blue bubble, this is the market buying or selling. I don't trade off the bubbles, but they are important sometimes to pay attention to, right? So again, why do I want to buy right now? You can see they're still hammering these. This is Russell and YM, but they're still hammering ES, and you can see it here. So if I start seeing blue bubbles, I'm getting out of the rest of this trade. It's a great trade. My room better be on this trade, or there's going to be some verbal lashings. All right, I'm going to give this a second here, but very, very likely going to bounce here. Am I going to put on a trade here? No, there's no volume event. If I get a volume event, because that's my trigger, right? If you want to trade these areas blindly like the lugs are very powerful, but I still demand a volume event. I'm very surprised we haven't seen a stop run, by the way, especially on Q. So I'm still short on Q too. This is a whopper. All right, let me get out of the ES. I'm going to give this a second. If I start seeing blue bubbles, and try to keep it, relative. Don't go like this, because you'll always find blue bubbles when you do that. Keep it relative how you have the chart. See, they're trying to come in already right here. Let's see. And I can use this too. If it starts to get quiet, then I know they're done for now. And the other thing I should be using here is my market pulse volume pressure. This is, so you can see right here. There's the buying. I'm out. Hold on. All right, that was a nice trade, right? So what's this telling me? This is market pulse. I have this set up. This is the volume pressure and balance mode. They have all these different algos. So they actually built market pulse for me. I requested it because at the time, all I had was this tick strike, right? So you can see the stuff firing off. This is still very helpful for me, hearing what's going on and seeing these meters. So these range from 1 to 15. But I said, you can't see the history. I requested, I've been using tick strike for about 15 years now, right? And I've always requested, hey, could we see these areas when this stuff's firing off? What does it look like? They've still to this day have not come up with that. Bookmap took this and made this now, it's basically tick strike on steroids. They've taken my initial recommendations and just made it into an incredible addition. The SI indicator is the most powerful thing you can have, a stop iceberg, but this is pretty close to being up there with it, right? So you see all these different algos. Pace of tape, price change, spread change, stops pressure, sweeps pressure. Here's the volume pressure and balance. So what's this telling me? The only thing I change here, this is all default. So you go in here, right here is crude. I set this up a little bit ago because I didn't have it because of the roll. Only thing I change, this is all default. The only thing I change is I make this an hour. So that's just telling me the most buying and selling that's coming in the last hour. Very important. So you can see this was a perfect place to get out. We had that. We had the blue lug. Then you see these sellers got really aggressive here, the most selling in the last hour, and they're off sides immediately. So doesn't mean it can't come back and make a new low, but that's telling you something, and this is the usual pattern for this. You could trade this pattern. We'll eventually have an algo, because we haven't gone over the reversion trade yet, but I want to have an algo that trades this on its own because it's too hard to trade by hand. But what usually happens here, this fires off, these sellers are off sides, it moves away, they're like, oh crap, it comes back, they say let me out, and then it does that, right? So the next high, so I was just trading off volume, pressure, and balance. If this came back, the next high I would be out of some of these anyway, but I already got out. I'm just giving you an example of volume, pressure, and balance. So I have examples, recorded video examples of this. I'm not going to get into them right now, but this stuff's very important. It's what's happening right now. It's not like a line on a chart from 3 weeks ago. It's what's happening now. That's the most important thing you could be using. All right, so here's the retest of the area. It's the same pattern basically every single time. But I'm out of that. Let's go over to NASDAQ. I don't want to look at gold because that's upsetting me because I miss huge trades in that. That's silver stuff if you guys trade silver. We'll look at this other stuff if this dies down. So anyway, what I need to be doing here, so I've been short NASDAQ this entire time. All right, I got out of one on the way down, but now, actually I could potentially put on another short here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I could have shorted this guy. That was sell ice. And it got to the ATR below. Did it? No, just right now it did. this is confused. I don't want to confuse you guys because if you're not used to watching these things, so don't even worry about that. So that's the most recent setup. If we get one of these, I'll put on more shorts based on different strategies. And I could trail my stop. Actually, I should be trailing my stop to that event. So my stop's way up here, so I have time. It's 150 points higher. So let's see if we're near the blue look. I might just be getting out of these as it is anyway. Let's see. I really hope my room caught these trades. Like, it felt so scary. We're really close to the blue lug here, and market profile composite low, and yesterday's value area low. So anyway, yes, it felt terrible. These markets felt like they were going to do the usual rip off the page. Well, one, it was telling me something was up. I was just hearing sell ice fire off in every equity, Russell, ES, and NQ. But I didn't just jump in the short. I waited for my pattern, and I didn't care how high it was going. I saw this. I have my areas. I put the short on. That's all you can do, guys. You're never going to predict what's going to happen. You just have to trade what you see. So, you know, how many guys got long here versus people that are using this stuff got short? Who won? Not the longs, right? So we took advantage of these guys being aggressive in all these markets, and I caught shorts in all three of them. Just golden. You don't usually see it. This looks really easy. It's not usually that easy. What we're doing is simple, right? I know it looks like a lot when you look at this chart. If you're new to this, you're like, what the hell is all this stuff, right? Once you get the zone draw, you understand these are the reversion trades. We'll go over those, but you know, this one did work, the one ATR. We'll go over that. But anyway, this anybody who trades equities, especially yes, knows it doesn't usually. You don't usually get 50-point straight moves. This one did, and because the whole point is you don't know what's going to happen. You put on the trade if it presents itself, and then you get out your areas like I did. That's it. So those were huge trades. You get sell ice in there, you got sell ice in here, and I showed you Nasdaq like 10 times, and then GC as well. Speaking of GC, so this was a long. So if I was short, I would have been out at, you know, some of those areas coming down, but my final exit would have been once this turns into a bullish setup, which it just did. You heard him say GC is validated. So that's another great thing about the zone tool, zone drawing tool. Bookmap Bob, we call him, named by a room member. He'll let you know verbally, and you can see it on this alerts history. So to pull up this alert history, you just go to File, Alerts, and then you get it, everything in text. So because when you're watching multiple markets, you can hear the stuff firing off, but you're like, wait, what was that? Just come over here, and I can see, you know, SI short retested, GC long validated, and Q short validated. So the zone drawing tool is awesome. It's from a trader in my trade room, a developer, brilliant guy, Johan. He has developed it, and it's been a godsend. So you guys have access to that. I put it in that document. Anyway, I want to see what's going on here. A little bit ago. Let's see. So this is a short setup right now, and it looks like, well, it hasn't quite touched that yet. Let's take a look at it. All right, now it just validated. Let's see what we are at any important areas here. This is an Izzy zone, but you know, we have first of all, the setup was like in the middle of this thing. So this is still in balance. I'm not seeing anything here. You know, if it breaks out either way, then there's potential trading strategies for that. But this particular strategy, I can't really do much except I can take barks and licks. So this is algo guy. This is exponential moving average. I go over it every week. I use this as a filter for my bark and lick trades. What are bark and lick trades? That's these here, right? Blind ATR retest confirm. Any trade on an SI volume event that has an ATR retest confirm. Why do I do that? Well, because as I said 100 times already this webinar, that these volume events are the most powerful thing that you can use in your futures trading, right? So I know inherently by themselves, these are an edge. They're even more of an edge when these things happen in my important areas. But a pattern that happens over and over and over and over is the ATR. I use a 5-minute Wilder ATR. It's on the chart here, this blue line. Retest of the zone, and then failure, or confirm. We used to call it failure. We used to call it a barf. Now it's a bark. Blind, ATR, retest, confirm. So I need algo guy in my direction for the bark and the lick. The lick is just literally a bark that I'm trading to the liquidity. I didn't put this one on at the time because algo guy at the time, for that trading strategy is what I'm saying I didn't put on, was bullish. So I didn't put those on. That was like in here. See how the blue is the shorter term exponential moving average, is longer term. I didn't put those trading strategies on, but I did put the Izzy trading strategy on. There's times I have 5 trading strategies on. There's times I only have 1. And this one, I only had 1 trading strategy on. Still an incredible trade. I got in right around 91, and I got out here on this webinar down here. It's a 50-point trade in the S. That's pretty good. All right, so any questions about that? So anyway, I can take barks and licks off of this wheat. Algo guy's bearish. So here we go. I don't know if I've talked about this pattern before. ATR, retest, confirm. I will short bark and lick. That's another great thing about the zone trying tool. You put in your capital, what your account size is, what you want to risk. Again, I'm using these Apex accounts. We'll go over Apex here in a little bit. If you're trading your own money, and which I don't recommend unless you have a lot of it and you're not worried about losing, because if you're worried about losing, you're going to lose. Apex is the next best thing, or a trading firm, obviously, where you trade their capital. But if you're trading your own, I wouldn't be risking more than 2% on a trade, and I wouldn't be risking more than 5 to 6% in a day. If you risk more than that, you're going to blow out your account. You're going to have a day where nothing's working and you're going to get killed. Take it from me. All right, so 1950, I'm going to short. I could put on 3. I'm going to round up, and I'm going to short bark and lick at 1950 in wheat. So if that comes back there, I will be in that. All right, those are working. All right, see if you guys got any questions. Explain the stop run. I'm watching Google, trying to figure out if I'm watching absorption or big round building. I'm not trading. I'm not trading individual stocks. I do have some of these stocks on my other Bookmap on my other computer, but I'm not watching stocks. VPI NES. Thank you, Jim Thomas. Actually, I just met Jim Thomas in California. He's a member of my trade room. He actually won the Bookmap Blue Jacket for the chart posting stuff. I just met him. I was on vacation last week and met him for the first time. Probably one of the best traders in my room. Tom Fox, Scott, how do you get market pulse on the subchart? I don't have all the configuration options. I just saw that you have. Just go to make sure you have market pulse selected, right? So let's find one of these. I don't have it set up just to show you guys. I probably don't have SI because a lot of this stuff just rolled. So when it rolls, you gotta redo it. Let's see what's going on in silver today. So you can see this is the great thing about this. Like when these other markets are dead, equities, you can hear this stuff firing off, and the thresholds are already here. This is why it's drawing the zones, and you just trade these setups just like you do in any market, right? So you are not taking advantage of all the opportunities if you're just pigeonholing yourself into watching the crappy ES all day long. Yeah, today was a great moving day. If most days anybody knows, it's a pain in the ass, right? All right, hold on here. This has got to be getting close to the blue lug here in NASDAQ. Then I'll show you the market pulse stuff. There we go. I was going to get this running here. All right, blue lug, I'm out. I don't need to be. That's a great trade too. All right, I could watch this more closely, right? So let's go over to NASDAQ. Like I just said, when why do you want to buy if no one else is buying? They're still hammering this stuff. I'm on this webinars. I'm hopping back in between products. I just can't watch it. But this might very well blow through the lug, right? All right. So anyway, I'm out right at the lug. I'm not putting on a long here though, right? Yes, I know the Ludwig levels are. Again, I mean, you can see how well this thing held up here. I mean, you could have literally just closed your eyes and sold at the red, taking the dog for a walk, come back and buy at the blue, right? It's obviously not that easy all the time, but these things are ridiculously powerful, especially when you get the lugs at extreme standard deviation of VWAP, and you get your. Actually, I missed that one. I missed this trade too. What am I doing over here? So this was an iLug U too. I missed an iLug U in. Yeah, this was an iLug U. I just completely missed it. Stuff was. I mean, I'm going to give myself a break. Stuff was markets were ripping. Like ATR in here was like 35.40 at the time. I was hearing setups everywhere, so I didn't get a chance. So this was another trading strategy that I missed. We saw all the gold trading strategies I missed. I did put on the Izzy trade, but this was the perfect I lug you. Sell iceberg at the red lug. That is a, what is that? Almost a 300-point winner. Yeah, that's pretty good. Some circles. So anyway, I missed that one too. That's upsets me. Again, I'm going to give myself a break. That's one of my weaknesses. I beat myself up a lot on mistakes. There was just so much going on. I just missed that trade. But at least I got something on. I got the Izzy trade on. We already went over that. Anyway, I'm on a NASDAQ. I'm out. I got nothing on now. I was short Russell, ES. So, I mean, I took a beating early on, guys. Like, you can see this. Like, I had 3 strategies on a NASDAQ. I did something I don't like to usually do. I put that trade on pre-market, and I paid for it, right, when that thing ripped. So you can see here, like, these were... So my day's not even that good, even catching these moves down, right? Here's the Russell. Here's the NASDAQ. Those are the Izzy trades. But right off the bat, I put on Bark, Lick, and Red Rum. We haven't gone over Red Rum. Those were all losers. Stopped out of those when they were right at the open. Again, that was the pre-market iceberg that I shouldn't have traded now. Of course, it's hindsight. And then I had 3 strategies on in crude. These were all, these were all based on the same event. This was the crude strategy at the time, right? And this was a torture treatment. I sat in this thing for an hour and a half, but I put on trades off of this, right? Guys, this is trading. It's trading in probabilities. I got what I wanted to see. Algo guy was bullish. I put on Bark, Lick, and at the time, this was a Red Rum trade. That's this. So when you get a volume event. All right, they're still hammering these stocks. Anyway, turned out to be, actually it was over here, I'm sorry. Turned out to be a loser. So, guys, it's probabilities. You just keep putting the trade on if you know you have an edge. And I know I have an edge. I know this is the best edge I've ever seen. Why don't you guys tell me that this is going to blow through the blue lug, by the way? That's not very helpful. All right, we're closest market profile composite low, high. If I get a stop run or an event here in NQ, I might put on, let me get this stuff out of here. This has got to be heavy relative volume coming in here too. That's not too crazy. All right, so again, I just heard a bunch of stuff firing off. I have no idea what fired off. So you come over here. Here you go. Buy ice. This is a potential. Get rid of silver here. So we got stops in ES. We got buy ice in NQ. This could be the end of the move. Do I know that? No. Am I just jumping in along? No, I need to see this confirmed, meaning moving ATR out of here. Actually, this may be, hold on. We have a new trading strategy we've just introduced. Why is this not firing off? I don't know why this didn't trigger. So this is, I should be going long here. Right now, this is an auto fade trade. Hold on. We're going to try this out. I've not done these publicly yet. I've barely done them on my own, but I've seen it about 1,000 times over the last 20 years if my Bookmap stops freezing here. All right, I'm just jumping in along here, and then Q, I'll go over it here in a second. I don't even have a trading strategy set up for this, so let's just throw it on that. So what is this trade I just put on? Well, first of all, this is a potential pick trade. I already missed part of this trade. I just cost myself 30 points. So the rule of this new trade, I don't even have it listed out yet here. We went over to my trade room the other afternoon. We got stuff in ES too. It's an auto fade strategy. We call it TikTok. It's when you see an extreme. See, look at this trade. It's already a 40-point winner, right? I got in late. Hopefully my room. I think this would. No, I don't see anyone talking about my room. We haven't covered this at length in my room yet, but the strategy is when you get a tick extreme, and I'm surprised this didn't fire off because I have it right there. It did not get that far. That's why I had it to, I wanted it at 1,000. Why is that? Uh-oh. Here we go with the Thinkorswim nonsense. Hold on. Oh, God. God, I hate Thinkorswim. I mean, oh, here we go. All right. All right, I'm not going to go off on him right now. That's my fault. All right, so anyway, tick extreme. The minute, so this is most of my trades, all of my trades require I don't get in until the market, it's a confirmation. I'm fully aware that I erode my edge when I wait for confirmation. But I've traded for so many of these things that the best way to trade them is to wait for the ATR out of here. There's a certain circumstance, I'm introducing these new trades. There's going to be a couple more. It's called the auto fade, meaning the minute you hear an event, you jump in. This is one of them. You get a tick extreme, and the second you hear it, you're in. Again, I got in a little later. I got in somewhere up here, but this is still a nice trade. This is exactly what the trade is meant to do, right? What else do we have here? So that's the TikTok. Again, I don't even have it listed out yet. It's that new. This is a pick. What's a pick? Well, you got buy ice at my important area, market profile composite. So for this trade, the traditional entry has not even been hit yet, right? That entry is up here. So I require for all my trading strategies, except for the new auto trade, fade trade strategies, that's my entry. I can hear people groaning and about, oh my God, you're going to wait for 60 points outside of that area? Yes, because again, you can trade these however you want. I've watched enough where it is so much better, in my opinion, to wait for this to push outside of an ATR to enter the trade, which I need to do. Stop talking. So I'm going to go long pick. Here's my position size. It's only 2 because the ATR is 50, right? So this all adjusts based on the volatility and the size of the zone. This 50 means the market is rotating 50 points every 5 minutes. So I adjust, the size adjusts with the zone drawer based on the volatility. So this is a good little TikTok trade. All right, so I'm going to go long 19,402. This is the pick trade if it gets up there. Hold on here. All right, that is working. Would it surprise me one bit if it came back to this zone? No, we actually have trades for that. It's more of a scalp trade. It's called the ATR reversion trade, and that's what these lines are, right? So this dotted line here, that's the one. The ATR is so big right now. These things are so far away, but that's what it is, right? So if you take the one ATR, you would have been filled right there. The trade is you get out back at the zone or this line here, right? It's not exactly the zone. That's your exit point there. So that's the one ATR. The stop for the one ATR is way up here. So I don't take these on these webinars almost ever, but I'm just showing you. So that's the one ATR entry. Here's the one ATR stop. I know it's ridiculously wide right now because the ATR is 50. Then you got the 2 and the 3. So which one's the right one to take? Don't know. Some days all the ones work. It keeps hitting the 1, right back to the zone. Some days the 1s get blown out, the 2 fills, back to the zone. Some days the 1s and the 2s lose, 3s come back. We actually have this running at a trading firm now, and it's doing very, very well because it's a very hard trade to do by hand, especially for me on these webinars. But if you are more of a scalper mentality, which most traders are because they feel uncomfortable sitting in trades, then this trade is more for you until you can sit through trades more. It's literally you're in at the ATR and you're out at the zone. That's the trade, and that is the zone drawer. It gives you that information right there. You see right here these reversions. Reversion 1, I can, based on my risk level, risking $500, I could put on 4 micros, 1, 2, and 3 reversion, and then on the spreadsheet, so you guys can have access to this. If you don't have the zone drawing tool, you get access to this. This is in this document too. Just go here, scalpeltrader.org, and you get access to the spreadsheet and the zones. This is all free if you're part of my trade room, but if you can't get in the trade room, you can get this stuff independently. But that's this, right? So the top part of this spreadsheet is for position trading that we've been talking about this entire webinar. Here's all the different strategies. Or here's the reversion trade. You just manually plug in the values. When you have the zone drawer, you don't usually have to do that because it's doing it for you. There's times we have to merge zones and stuff, but by hand, but most of the time stuff's just done for you. So those are the 2 different trades. So I still have not been filled on the pick long. And these are some of the best trades. Izzy's, actually this might be an Izzy trade too. And yes, of course, Jim Thomas calls it out right there, right? So I took this Izzy. I took this one, caught it out at the blue lug. Now, I will take that one. You know, these markets are in trouble now, I think. We talked about this pre-market, right? It is through there. Doesn't mean I won't take this Izzy trade. If this turns out to be a long side, if the markets are in so much trouble, then this volume event shouldn't turn bullish. If it turns bullish, here's my Izzy zone, inflection zone. I'm going to take the long. If I do get short setups from here, I'm going to trade double size though. Why? Because, and this is actually, if I get a short setup, it's a failed balance breakout. We already said to be on alert for that. That's when you get a balance breakout that failed balance breakout. First volume event that turns bearish, you can jump in short. I might have missed one up here higher. But anyway, that's in play. So I don't know what I'm doing here yet. I don't know if this is a bullish or bearish setup until what? Until it can push an ATR out of here. What does that mean? That just means I've watched 50 million of these things, right? And I've determined if the market's able to push an ATR out of the volume event, that's the best way to trade it, right? So this has not shown me its hand yet, whether this is a bullish event or a bearish event. So I have strategies for either way. If this turns out to be a bearish event, I'm going to take barks and licks. And I could take a pick here too as it enters back into that market profile composite. Or if this holds, I will pick an Izzy long. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I will wait for the market to tell me what to do. That is the beauty of this stuff, right? I did put on the TikTok trade. That's just an instant entry. But other than that, I let this stuff tell me. That's the beauty of these volume events. You don't have to sit here and question, oh, what do I do? Do I go long? Do I go short? Right? I already know this is an important area. Here's your market profile composite. Could do that. If it doesn't, and it gets in here, then I could take shorts off of that event. Right? So I don't know what I'm doing yet. Let's see what's going here. I think I missed a bunch of ES stuff. All right, so you got sell ice. So I would combine these two. This is actually the seventh wonder of the world. Step Bros. Sell stops and sell ice. Where's it at? Where is it at? Right here. Step Bros. The sixth setup wonder of the world. It's called Step Bros. So inherently, this is a very bearish. Right? We know the stop runs are usually fades, so that's the guy's puking. But now you got sell ice coming in right behind it. So this should be a bearish setup. If this does not and turns out to be bullish, and I talk about this in the course, expect a whopper move the other way, right? But as of right now, doesn't mean I'm jumping in short yet. I still need to see the ATR touched, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these two because they are pretty close together, right? I didn't see the sell stops on here. Hold on, I got to turn this off. I'll go over the market pulse too. I didn't forget about you. Do I have the stops turned off here? What's going on here? Yeah, I had stops turned off. I don't know why. Anyway, stop run, 1,000 stops. Remember I was telling you, I can't believe we haven't seen stops yet? Well, there you go. There's 1,000 pukes. How did these buys work out for these guys up here? Pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and bet a lot of these stops. I don't know why my Bookmap's freezing up so bad today. I do have market pulse on like 20 different products, SI indicators, so it's not usually this bad though. It's just because stuff's so volatile. There you go. Anyway, I'm just making fun of the longs up here that tried to jump in thinking we were going to the moon again. I can't even find it. It's so far away. There it is. So how did all these longs do up here? Pretty good. That jumped up and ran into the mouthfuls of sell ice? Not so good. Anyway, I'm surprised it took that long to see the pukes, to tell you the truth. But anyway, we got the pukes, and you got sell ice. I'm going to combine these, and I'm going to trade accordingly. We got stuff in CL too. Guys, but you see as well, like, I'm not getting in trouble here trying to catch a falling knife, right? Like, how many traders right now saying, oh my God, this is overdone, man. This can't go any further. And they're getting their heads ripped off, right? This is a huge move. This is a 300-400 point move in NASDAQ. Do you see me going long yet? No. I mean, I went long the TikTok. Of course, that came all the way back. But the point is, I don't just jump in longs until these volume events tell me to go long. All right, let me get this. I can't merge this stuff. Hold on. There we go. So with the drawing tool, you can adjust it, obviously. Use the F keys. You get instructions on all this if you subscribe to it. There you All right, so that's the step bro zone. Now I let the market tell me if it's bullish or bearish. It still hasn't tagged this line. Is that the tick? Keep getting hammered here? Yeah, so this keeps, this is a day, this is program selling. So this thing keeps tagging the tick line, right? That doesn't tell me that is what's going on. They are selling the big money, the funds, so on and so forth, are selling baskets of stocks, and they just keep. That's why it's showing you, 1,000 or more. This just means 1,000 or more of the stock universe stocks in the Nasdaq, in this case, are down ticking. So when you get 1,000 or more, it's usually a good fade. Today, something bigger is going on, obviously, because you don't see these kind of moves unless something's bigger is going on. That's not rocket science. Anyway, the NYSE tick hasn't hit it once, so that's interesting. So we'll see. Anyway, back to this stuff. The only thing I have on is that tick long, and I should have got out on the first wave up. Again, we don't really have rules for the exit yet, but I do know that is usually a good trade. I mean, if you got in where you're supposed to get in, this was a 50-point trade, right? I just, I'm on the webinars, and this was liquidity. I could have definitely got out. Failure to get through resting liquidity. That's one of my areas. So I just blanked on it because I was showing you guys other stuff. But that was this. Struggle to get through heavy resting liquidity. So I should have been out of that. That was a 50-point trade, but I didn't, and I'm still in it. All right, so anyway, I still don't know what this volume event is. It still has not tagged the ATR above or below. And if it holds here and doesn't tag the one below, I will go long Izzy and pick. If this turns out to be a bearish setup, I'm going to go long FBB or short FBB. Actually, FBB is an aggressive short, so I should be getting this in right now. We'll go over this trade here in a second. So I could put on 2 and I can short at 276.75. This is FBB. Hold on, NASDAQ. Hold on. I just hammered this. I'll stop out of my TikTok that I didn't get out of either. That was not wise. 76.75. All right, FBB is number 87. So you can see here, this is what I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at all these different, we'll go over the Apex stuff. So I have an Apex account signed for each one of these strategies, right? This yellow means they're close to being live. But anyway, the FBB is number 8. So this is how I'm determining, which strategy. We'll go over Apex here in a second, like I said. All right, and then I'll go over the market pulse too, because I still haven't shown that. 76 quarter, I'm going short FBB. What's FBB? Failed balance breakout. We've already covered it. I think I could have got in a little earlier. Actually, let's see what's up here. I think I could have gotten in off of this event here. Maybe. No, I said 4:30. So this is the first event since the failed balance breakout. They're just hammering these markets. I love it. Not short anymore. Anyway. All right, so I'm filled on FBB. Failed balance breakout, first event you get below the high volume node. Take the trade. That's this guy right here. Failed balance breakout. Failed break of longer term balance, where market travels back through the balance area, high volume node. That's just the middle of the balance area where the most trade occurred. Trades are taken aggressively, so I am short that. And I also know now this is a short setup, so what else do I have that I can put on here? I'll go over to ES here in a second because I know how much you guys love trading that ES. I have Barks and Licks. Obviously, Algo Guy is bearish. This feels terrible, right? This feels like I'm shorting into it and this thing's going to rip off the page, right? It doesn't matter what I feel. I have to trade my strategies. I don't know what's going to happen. This market can go down another 500 points. No idea. We get this. I'll put on Barks and Licks as well. As long as there's liquidity down here, resting liquidity. Not seeing a lot. No. Hold on. Yeah, I'd probably traded this guy. It's not crazy, but it's been in here for a while. My Bookmap is really freezing today. Come on. Yeah, I would put on Bark. I put on a Lick as well. So if we get this, and I'll put out, I already got, actually I need to be short. What I'm going to do here, so you got to make a decision with this pick trade, whether you want to get in aggressively or not. I already missed that boat. So if it comes in, if it comes back to that volume event, I'm going to put on, so that's the volume event, it's right at the top of this, right? I'll put on Bark, Lick, and I'll put on a pick. And you can see this might bounce off this guy right here too. This is the prior one, bottom. So I got I'm already short the fail balance breakout. If this goes ATR retest confirm, I'm going to put on barks, licks, and picks. All right, let's go look at ES here. I don't think I missed anything in here, so that's good. All right, so I've got some things brewing here too. Right, algo guy's bearish, obviously. So barks and licks are in play, minimum. So this is a variation where I can short off this prior event. Here's the event here. Got to the ATR, right? I can still short this guy and trail my stop to this guy. So the only time I can't do that, I'm always defaulting to the most recent setup. So if this turns out to be a bullish event, I can't do that anymore. And that's this line. So there's a way this could retest. You see that the bottom of the zone is 2675. Or actually, it's even lower than that with this. This is actually the retest, this yellow line. There's a way this would still remain short. This would not be a bullish event as long as it doesn't touch 2875. If it touches 2875, then the shorts are off the table, and then this is a long setup. Let's see if we have potential longs here. So again, I don't know what I'm doing yet. And I think this is a failed balance breakout. And so I should have been short this too. I missed this one. This is all I was waiting for. This is what I was talking about this morning. That's a failed balance breakout. Anything under 55.60 is the short. So I should have been short this event. So actually I can go short right now. I'm going to go short the FBB in this too. It's number 81. This feels terrible. It feels like I'm shorting into a rip, but this is where I should have been short here. That's this price line. 15.5. I'm not going to chase it. If it comes back, I'll take it. All right, that's working. Other than that, that's just one strategy. FBB is the balance area, failed balance breakout, first volume event, which was that. You get in aggressively. Now I have potential barks and licks off of that, potential barks and licks off of that, depending on what's happening here. Let's see what else we got. Very active day. I like it. It's hard to keep up with on the webinar, but I like it. I'm not complaining. About time. The minute I went on vacation last week, the Nasdaq dropped 500 points, and I told my room, have fun with that because I knew it was going to happen. I could have shorted a pick here aggressively too. There you go. But what I'll do here off this event, if it comes back, same thing I'm going to do with Nasdaq if we get a retest. But I could have just jumped in off of this guy the same way. So we'll see what happens here. Actually, I'll probably put that on too. So, most of the stuff we do is black and white. Some stuff is objective, right? So I have to decide on this break into this market profile composite. Do I just want to jump in? Or the usual pattern is it'll break inside of it, it'll come back, and then it'll go, or it'll fail back out. This has been such a big down move for this pick. I'm gonna wait for that to take the pick trade in this instance. Sometimes I'll get in aggressively. So, again, most of the stuff's black and white. So, meaning, if this comes back to this guy, I'm going to put on barks, licks, and a pick off of that guy. And the same with Nasdaq. I did put on the FBB, though. I'm short FBB. So, I got short here, 15.5. My stop. So, I'm trailing my stop to the most recent event. My normal stop would have been way up here off of this event. It was originally up here. This is the beauty of this zone chart. I don't even have to go to the spreadsheet. Just look right here. You can see at the bottom left, it was 46.25. Now with this new event, again, I shorted off of that guy. The new event stops right here. I'm not going to stop out in the middle of the zone. I will move it out of the zone. I'm still going to save myself 10 plus points from where it was, right? But I'm not going to stop out in the middle of a volume event. It's very likely going to bounce off there. If my room's watching, I'd be watching for an A plus reversion. I'm not going to get into those on the webinar, but they should know what that is. Anyway, I'm gonna put my stop at for this FBB trade I just entered, and it'll also be for barks and licks. I'm gonna put my stop at since it's so volatile, I'll say 36. Let me put this in here. There, that's working. And then there's other strategies we can put on depending on what happens here. If this holds, turns it out to be a bullish setup. This is an Izzy zone. It doesn't feel very good because we're breaking below that balance, but it's This is a pretty big down move. So I would take that Izzy long if this turns out to be this one, a bullish setup. So what I'm going to do here, I'm already short FBB, fail balance breakout. If this turns out to be a bullish setup, I would be going long Izzy and stopping out of my short there. I'm going to go long Izzy and stop out of my short up here. I'm willing to risk an extra 6.5 points or 6.25 points so I don't enter or stop out in the middle of this event. So I'm going to put my Izzy long right now at 36, and that's exactly where I'll stop out of my FBB. If you guys got questions on what I'm doing, just throw it in there. I know it seems very complicated, but trust me, it is not. 129. All right, so those are working. So I will stop out of my FBB and go long Izzy if this holds and turns out to be a bullish setup. If it turns out to be a bearish setup, then I have strategies for that. So we'll see what happens there. I'm short NASDAQ here. You guys, it's another thing. If you understand the reversion, right, you're not panicking as the market. It's very likely this is to come back and retest this zone. Am I panicking out of the trade? No. I know we have a trade for that activity. So I'm not going to sit there and I don't like when it happens when I'm short, but it doesn't surprise me. And as long as it can't push all the way out to this line, as an ATR plus 15%, I hold on to the trade. We saw the other day, I was short NASDAQ at the close on my PM webinar. And I had like 40, 50 points in it. And then something came out. It was right before the Apple, Microsoft earnings. I can't remember what it was, which earnings it was. The market ripped like 90 points straight, right? But it never got to that, and I never stopped out, right? So that's why I force these markets. If I'm going to be wrong, I don't let them algo me. Here's here's a volume event here too, by the way. I'm going to trail my stop to that. There you go. So but my point is, I force these markets to get outside of an ATR to stop me out. That's, again, just from trading 5 million of these things. All right, so anyway, I was short the FBB here. I am going to, remember my stop was up here. Now you can see with the newest event, trail my stop to there. And we may have some potential longs here too. 50.75, let me put that in here. That is working. Let's see. I'm pretty sure this is an Izzy. It's not an Izzy, so you can see we're in between zones here. So nothing for me to do here. A little lower, I'd take that Izzy. And these are the best Izzies. When you get these straight, huge moves into these inflection zones, those are the best ones. So still got a ways to go. 226 is the next Izzy top high. I want to look at gold right now. It's upsetting me that I missed the trade. They're just hammering this stuff. I love it. And you can see this relative volume, especially in ES, has been off the charts today. All right, so you should not be taking reversion trades, and I'm talking in my room, if you're watching the disqualifier. Look at this relative volume. You do not want to be hoping these algos snap it back to the volume event when you see this kind of volume coming through. Right? NASDAQ hasn't been too bad, but ES, no dice. Should not be taking reversion trades. All right. How long does it take for it to completely understand the ATR and how you recommend learning from it? I go over it all the time in my trade room. There's not written explicit instructions because I don't want it all over the internet because we're trading it with a trading firm, right? So I teach it. You can learn it. There's so many traders in my room taking it. I'm sure they've been taking them all day today. I don't know. Again, you better not have been taking the ES. Today's not a good day to take them because the relative volume is elevated. NASDAQ, a different story. But point is, I go over it. I just don't have step 1, step 2, step 3, kind of like this stuff, right? Like my trading, and I'm actually going to be back for this too. They're going to back me for this stuff too, I'm pretty sure, because I've been showing them the results of that. But the point is, I will go over it on my webinars, but I don't have a written. I was actually doing a course on it. You can actually even see here. What do I do with that? So I was in the process of making a course on this. Actually, you can't see it here. Yeah, see? The reversion. I was in the process of making that, but then I got back by a trading firm. So I don't want the instructions all over the internet, right? Because it'll be all over the internet. And my course will be pirated and so on and so forth. I still teach it. I'll still teach you it, but you got to be in my room. And I don't usually go over them on the Bookmap webinars, but I will point it out in my room and I show examples too. Like you can even see them here. I've been showing this example. We started September. Oh, it's almost 2 years ago. So you can see here. Hold on here. Let's see. I think I still got them. There we go. So I posted a ton of these back in the right there. Right. So this is when we had the spreadsheet. This is a long time ago, but when we first started doing it, I would post every one I saw. But they're still exactly the same. Nothing's changed. It's still an incredible trade, and it's a scalp trade, right? So I had a bunch of these. So I will go over these, but you can see them in the room, but I go over them on my webinars. Other than that, there's no course or anything on them right now. And it's doing very well to trading firms. So because it's, it's a you got to be quick. It's a scalp type trade. All right, so what do we have going on here? Oh, nothing, no Izzy and NQ long. I could take a pick off of this. So, this is prior and the market's traded up and through it, but it's still kind of respecting it, right? You saw yesterday it launched out of there. I'm sorry, wrong one. That's this one here. Yeah, I don't think I should just delete this, right? It's traded through it. Usually when I see a single day, the value area at the same area, then I'll keep it, but this guy could be deleted. So I'm not going to trade any pick off of this particular one, so I'm going to cut this off here. Cut drawing here. Hey guys, these are just my important areas. When you come in my room, you don't have to have market profile, right? I just know how the tops and bottoms of these composites, and these are just value areas from days merged. I know how powerful these areas are, right? You don't have to have, going back to this, like you don't have to have all this stuff. All you really need to trade is Bookmap and the MBO data. So this stuff, it's all in here, right? Where we're at. Right here, Bookmap and the MBO bundle. That's all you really need. You do. I get all these questions all the time. Do I have to have that to come to your trade room? You don't. I mean, I go over other stuff, but this is the driver of my trading. So you need Bookmap and then you need the MBO bundle. Again, if you click on this stuff, these are all discounts to everything that I use. Bookmap, you want to get Global Plus because it shows you sweeps and so forth, but that's what all this stuff is. So you get the basic. You can see you get the discount there. All this stuff is discount. So we haven't gone over this yet. Apex. Highly recommended for any if you have a small account or you can't afford to lose, because I told you if you can't afford to lose, you're gonna lose. So it's the next best thing besides having a trading firm behind you, right? So right now they got 80% off. Any sale that they have, use Pulcini 50 and you get the discount. I've been using these guys for 2.5 years. I've never had any problems with them. I know people bitch sometimes that that they qualify and they're going to get paid and they don't get paid in like 6 hours and they're complaining. Like I say all the time, if this thing goes, if there's something wrong with this, you're going to know in about 2 seconds with social media. This is the one I put my name behind. I know there's a bunch out there. I've been using them for 2.5 years. I've never had a problem with them. I've been paid multiple times with them on these accounts. Anyway, each one of my of these trading strategies are tied to one of those Apex accounts, right? And a couple of them are live, a couple of them. The other thing too is it's easy to blow out of them. So you got to realize that when you get in these things, where is it? Right? So you see the profit goal and trailing threshold. So you can be positive in these, and it's happened to me. It just happened to me. I blew out of one of the live ones a couple weeks ago because I left an order in the order book like a moron. But anyway, you could be positive, and if you pull back the drawdown, you blow out of the account, right? But you still have a positive account. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's the main thing is it teaches you how to regulate your risk, right, or control your risk. But you just got to be aware of that if you're going to do these. That's the one caveat, and they all have them, right? It's not just Apex, but Apex is the best that I've seen as far as what they offer, as far as you can qualify in a day, so on and so forth. But most of them that I have are these 150s, so you can see them all here. The ones I'm using here with the different strategies, right? That's not it. That's actually today's stuff. Where's it at? I showed this applied to these trading strategies, right? So, of course, the PA is down right now, but it's still live. I had two other ones, and again, I blew out of them. One was a mistake, the other one I just had a drawdown. But guys, this is trading, right? Your days are going to look like this, and then you have one of those, and then you're back like this, and then you have one of those. It's kind of like a chart. So the point is, if you are looking, if you don't have the money to trade, this is the next best thing. But you can see, that's profitable, 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 right around break even, profitable, profitable. This one's not. What is that one? I don't know what that one is. Break even, just under, profitable, profitable, right? So all of these strategies will be profitable, but I have to gradually build them up, and that's what you have to do with your trading accounts anyway, right? So that's how I'm monitoring this. And I get questioned. I had a guy yesterday, a guy in my room that's been in there forever. Well, why are you trading your real accounts? First of all, I do have real accounts, but they're small. Second of all, I have learned the hard way of trading my real money that I'm living on, that I'm supporting my family with on these webinars. I've cost myself tens of thousands of dollars. So that's why I finally, and I never had these trading strategies, right, laid out. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to lay these out so it's easier for my students to understand, and I'm going to attach an Apex account to each one of these so we can keep track of the stats, so on and so forth. It's going to be even better when I'm trading these with a trading firm where I have actual backing. But in the meantime, I'm using Apex. So I've cost myself so much money trading my live account. It used to just be off the Bookmap. Go back like 3-4 years ago, I was trading all these strategies on the fly on Bookmap, right? And I got sick of losing tens of thousands of dollars on mistakes, so that's why I'm doing it the way I am. Like I explained to the guy in my room yesterday, I don't care if I told you guys, first of all, I've made over $15 million in my career, so you might want to listen to what I have to say when I talk about order flow and how these markets react to these areas, right? But I don't care if I showed you I made $10 million last year. How does that, yeah, you see the stuff works, but you can see the stuff works just from the webinar. So whether I made $1,000 last year or $1 million last year, am I sharing the money with you? It shouldn't matter. It's what I'm teaching you that you apply to you. And what I said yesterday, I could show 5 traders the same exact trade, and I guarantee you all 5 have different P&Ls, because one guy can't handle this and he panics and then it goes this way. Another guy gets it going in his favor and he gets out of most right there. Another guy says, I'm going to hold it to here. He gets out here. You see what I'm saying? So the point is to learn what I'm showing you and apply it for yourself. Same with all these strategies. It is not, yes, you can come in here and do these to the T, which I recommend, but then as you get better, you put your own spin on things, right? You could say Madam Shields was probably number one. She likes, she'll actually, this is, I don't know what happened here. She'll take the trade, but if she sees a bunch of liquidity below and it's a long setup, she won't take the long. That's what I want from you guys. I want you to take what I'm doing and then mold it into your own. That's what I'm trying to do here, and that's what my trading room is. Do not come in my trading room thinking you're going to get buy here, sell here. Yes, I show you what I'm doing, and it's all on the chart. I'm telling you where I'm doing this stuff. By the way, these markers are just sitting here now. I'm just still waiting to see what this turns out to be. But it is not a mirror my trade room. So many people just want to do mindless trading, right? Tell me where to buy. Tell me where to sell. That's not what this is for. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach you guys how to do it yourself. Because if I walk outside and get struck by lightning and all you're doing is mirroring my trades, what are you going to do? You're done trading, right? Or you're on to the next guy that you just want to mirror. Learn this stuff for yourself so you can do this for a living and rely on yourself, not me. That's the whole goal of my room, right? So I'm not going to get onto that rant. I went on a lengthy rant yesterday, especially with a guy who's been in my room that comes in sporadically and doesn't, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, I'm still long. I still log that tick. Did I step out of that? I don't know. No, I'm still log that. What did I do here? Can't remember what I did. Oh, I took this. I did step out of that, and now I'm short. Yes, I have the FBB short on, and that's it. So anyway, I have a new event here. This is a while ago again. I forgot what I was doing, but remember, I took the tick trade, the new trade, the auto fade trade. I had 50 points in it. I didn't get out because I was showing something else, and I stopped out of that. But anyway, I got short pick, and now my stop is trailed to that, and you can see right here. So I got short fail balance breakout. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. When I start talking about other stuff, I forget what I was doing. This was this trade. I've already showed it, right? Balance, fail balance breakout. I got short off the volume event, first move out. That's what I'm currently short here. Then we have a new event here. I'm trailing my stop. I stopped for that. FBB short was up here. Now I'm moving it to there off of this new event. This event has not shown its hand yet. I'm going to take potentially, what did I say that I was going to go long? Anything here? I can't remember what I said. There's really nothing to go long here. We're not in a Izzy zone yet off of this particular event, right? We're not in an Izzy zone yet. If it moves a little lower, we will be, right? I will go long into that guy. That's where this directional conviction started, out of this high volume node of this bounce area. We're not there yet. Algo guy is still bearish. So for the longs, for me, there's nothing for my areas, and this is trying to pull, so pay attention. If this does pull, there's a potential trade for that too. Even we have it, it's called HAL, heavy L. If this pulls with heavy relative volume, there's a trade for that. But right now, for me, there's no longs. You may have an area that you love right here. Great. That's not for me to say what areas you think are important. What I am telling you is to make sure you get a volume event with the rules in those areas, and then your edge is enhanced by about 1,000 times, right? So if you have a Bollinger Band or a moving average cross or whatever the hell you're looking at, fine. It's not for me to say. I don't care if you trade when the sun goes behind the clouds. Make sure that you get a volume event when that happens, right? So if you like the long, this is where you would enter the long. For me, there's no long in this instance, and I'm actually short. I will stop out of my long. I'm sorry, I'll stop out of my short there. In the meantime, if this does this, I can put on more shorts, and that's what I'm watching for. So this has just been sitting here for the last 40 minutes. We don't know yet. All right, I gotta take a breath. We only have a couple minutes too. Let's see what you guys are saying here. How important do you think the risk reward is with the SI strategy? What do you mean by that? How important do I think the risk reward? One more question. If you had to learn this all over, where would you go from doing it? What would you devote yourself to start practicing first? Also reading Enhancing Trader Performance. Enhancing Trader Performance is a great book. You want to understand how your mind works, how the mind works, and what this is mostly what he wrote about what makes people elite, right? So he wrote this book, and this was when he was at my trading firm, and he asked if he can sit behind me for a year, and he watched me make $10 million that year. Right? I think it was the year after. I think it was 2004. He sat behind me. So anyway, you definitely want to read this. This doesn't show you. You want to know how your brain works and what makes traders great, or what makes anybody great. And he talks about Michael Jordan and stuff in this book, right? Yes, you want to read it, but it's not really applicable for actual trading strategies. What I would recommend, I say in every webinar, is you can come in my room and learn on the fly, right? But it's going to take you a long time. So my recommendation, and you get a discount if you remember my room. So if you're going to join the room, and I'll give you a discount to this, is get the course. Understand what all this is, right? It's not difficult. Trust me, it's pretty simple stuff. That's how I like to trade. When I made millions of dollars, I was just trading straight off of this. I didn't even have charts up. I was just trading off of that. It doesn't get much simpler. So I like to keep my trading very simple. These are just the setups. Understand what the setups are, how to recognize them, how the market, the patterns that trade off of these setups, right? How to use the ATR, the advanced trading of zones, right? So I would recommend getting this, learn what you're doing, and then you hit the ground running when you get my trade room, because I am trading live, and I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I know I talk fast. I know I'm popping from market to market. This is live trading, guys. This is not after the fact trading, which a lot of educators, I'm using air quotes, like to do. This is real-time stuff. So my point is, yes, you can learn this stuff on the fly while I teach it, but I don't have time to go over the basics. I try to dumb it down a little bit. I don't mean to use that word. Dumb it meaning there's new traders on here that don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I try to make it more basic on these webinars, but I still don't have time to go through every single thing that we're doing in here. That's why you want the course. You can learn. It's going to take you longer live, right? So that's what I recommend. Get in the trading room. You can do one-on-one mentoring with me as well. Many traders have done that. The top trader in the room, he actually hasn't even been around because he was on vacation, probably spending his money that he made trading lands. He did like 5 or 6 sessions with me right off the bat, and then he took off, right? So you don't have to do mentoring either. It's just, if you want to fast track stuff, that's the best way to do it. Other than that, come in the trade room. There are many, many capable traders in the trade room that point out stuff. There's a few, they are all doing that, right? So this is the main room. Guys posting charts and showing what they're doing, and right? So there's not a lot of chart posting today. Maybe people are just enthralled. There was some early. Like this stuff, right? So there's many capable traders in there that are pointing things out as you learn. And this is the place that you want to go to ask your questions, right? And I'm there. If you got a question, you put it in there. So you don't need to be one-on-one mentoring with me to get your questions answered. Justin said, I saw you were making up 10% of the market with your trades. At the time, yeah. Guys, this is what I'm trying to explain to you, right? I'm not $1 million trader anymore. I will be eventually, especially if I have the proper backing, right? Because this is all scalable. That's how when I first started. I started out trading 1 lots, and then I moved to 2, then 4, then 8, and then within 2 years I could trade up to 3,000 contracts, right? So when you have the proper backing, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all scalable, right? The best way to do it if you don't have a trading firm behind you is use Apex. But anyway, yes, I used to trade. I was, at the time, the ES would average about 500,000 contracts a day. I would average 50,000 contracts a day, flipping the order book. So if there's one thing I know, and I said it yesterday, I will be willing to bet my life that I am probably have the most volume experience on the planet as far as order watching. I mean, how many orders? I used to trade 1 million contracts a month, in and out, right? Great. Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately? It's not glory days. I'm just explaining to you that I've seen 25 years of market action and tens of millions of contracts traded, right? So you might want to listen to my take on things. That's all I'm trying to show you guys, right? So whether I made, again, $1,000 last month or last year or $1 million, I still have 25 years of trading experience you might want to listen to that will help your trading dramatically. So again, I'm not going to get into that rant like I did yesterday in my room, but do I limit myself to trade certain hours? Yeah. You want to trade, you could trade this stuff overnight. There's a bunch of people from Europe in my room, from France, Italy, a couple other countries. They trade the Globex. You could trade Globex. The stuff all populates. You can trade your thresholds on these too. You can change them too. So I recommend if you're trading Globex, you can trade half thresholds, right? So for instance, this will draw an ES. The threshold for ES is 700 for icebergs, right? Meaning I only trade if it's $700 or more icebergs, 500 or more stops. If it's 350 icebergs, I do not trade it during regular trading hours. If you're overnight and you see 350, I think that's a tradable event. So you can change that zone drawing tool to whatever threshold you want. They're automatic based on mine. That's in the course as well, but you can change them. But yeah, I mean, the stuff works at any time of the day, because all you're really looking for is trap traders. There's trap traders overnight too. I don't sit up all night. I used to when I was a younger lad. This is how I learned to trade. That I learned in 2001. I got to get off here too, by the way. I'm going over the time. When the markets 9/11 happened, they shut down the U.S. markets. I was trading the German DAX to figure out what the hell I was doing, what I wanted to do. So I would trade literally from 1 a.m. Central to 5 a.m. I'd go home, I'd take an hour and a half nap, come back, and then I'd trade the regular session. That's when I was 29 years old. I can't do that anymore. But yeah, you can trade these overnight and during the regular trading hours. It's all the same stuff. We're looking for trap traders and taking advantage when one of them is wrong. And you can see today the buyers have been wrong, and the sell ice has just been coming in non-stop. By the way, this event turned out to be, the Step Pros was bearish, just like it should have been the tendency. All right, guys, this is what I do. There hasn't been a ton since that move down, but I at least caught that move down. I missed some trades too, especially that gold trade. But the whole idea is to show you guys what, this is the driver of the markets. If you don't think so, then you just don't get it, in my opinion. And if you're not using this stuff, you don't have all the information. You may be a great trader. I can promise you, if you add this stuff in, you're going to be way, way better. That's it. I do this every day in my trade room. Come on by. If not, I will see you guys next Thursday.